lactating woman, breastfeeding my son. Here's breast milk. They're throwing me in the street, denying me shelter in this country.
So y'all wasn't gonna tell me about Heather. So you sasters wasn't gonna tell me about Heather. Now I done went down the rabbit hole of hell doing some research about how Heather been. What she been up to. Y'all wasn't gonna tell me about Heather. Don't forget your elbows. Oh, okay. See, y'all can kick hot rocks with your flip-flops. See, that's what y'all can do. Done got me down here looking at this. Child, let's get it popping. Friends, welcome back to my channel. Sass here, and yes, I am back for a blast from the past, okay? The new season of Love After Lockup comes back Friday, and so I thought it would be, good to go down memory lane and talk about the most toxic couples of Love After Lockup. Look, I can't get to everybody. We have seen some doozies. I can't get to everybody, but y'all like the last video, so I'm here to give you another one. Heather and Dylan. Now, out of everyone, okay, Heather and Dylan has to be top 5 of the most toxic couple. And it really wasn't on Dylan. Really, it was Heather. Okay? It was Heather. They were toxic because Heather was toxic. Okay? Heather had issues. Heather had problems. Alright? Now, we met Heather and we met Dylan, and Dylan came out of prison, and everybody was like, oh. Honey, Dylan is some kind of cute. Dylan reminds me of Rob from 90 Day Fiancé. Y'all see it? I most definitely see it. But anyway, so let the games begin. Let the shenanigans begin. Heather out of the gate was on 10. She was on 10 when Dylan needed a place to stay. So Heather was staying with her auntie who was on oxygen, who was in poor health, allowed them to stay at her house. Well, the auntie, being a woman who is opening up her household to a felon, Dylan said that himself. How nice of this woman who don't even know me allow a felon to live in her home. So the auntie was, hey, what's mine is yours, what's yours is yours. But then things shifted a little bit when Dylan and the auntie are acquainted. They are enjoying each other's company, okay? The auntie's daughter was there, and everybody was talking, getting to know each other, and guess who got upset because Dylan and her auntie, who was on oxygen, enjoyed each other? Heather. See, that was the red flag. That's when we all, as a Love After Lockup family, said, oh, Lord, this girl ain't all there. Who gets upset because your boyfriend having a good conversation, getting to know each other with your elderly auntie? Oh, it was Heather, because see, Heather wasn't getting the attention that she needed from Dylan. She wanted Dylan's all attention. She didn't even want the auntie to have Dylan's attention. This is who we dealing with. But see, that was just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Heather. That was just the tip of what we later find out, that Heather got some mental issues. Serious serious ones. So Heather went on and on. She threw a temper tantrum. She went into a room, slammed the door. Dylan was like, oh, Lord, what have I done? Dylan had a frightened look on his face. He was like, oh, Lord, how do I get out of here? Oh, that's right, I ain't got nowhere to go, so. The auntie's oxygen tank was about to explode. Bless her heart. The auntie was like, I was like, get her out of that house, auntie. She gonna make you have a stroke. And then, how can we forget the visit to the DMV? See, Heather done cut a shine at home throwing her little 8-year-old temper tantrum. So then Heather said, how can I raise it up 2 notches? So Heather takes Dylan to the DMV so he can get an ID. But see, before Heather could go to the DMV, she had to get made up like she was going to a club. Y'all remember that? Face made up, hair done. She had she was dressed up. She had on heels to go to the DMV. Mind you, she was not the one that was taking the picture. So they were running late. They go to the DMV. And the guy says, listen, okay, no driving test and no written test today. Okay, sorry for your luck. You should have been here on time, okay? Instead of Heather getting you getting your hair done, your face done, you acting like you're going to the club, DMV. So then she gets frustrated. And so then Dylan made in, a little jokey, a little funny. Honey, Heather didn't find that funny. He was like, well, if you wasn't late, we wouldn't be having this problem. And so that was it. Heather went ballistic. Screaming, yelling, what? You blaming me? Oh, it's all my fault. Oh, it's always my fault. I mean, she goes off. She gets in that car. Dylan's in the passenger side. And I kid you not, Heather was going down that road going 90. Honey, Heather was flying down that road. She was like a bat out of hell. Honey, Dylan was hanging on for dear life. And that's when we knew that Heather needed help. Seriously. Like there was possible, allegedly came out later that there was some substances involved. But then make the long story short, okay, Heather and Dylan eventually, thank God, broke up. Because let me tell you something, they were toxic. There was allegations on, Heather's part of DV. I think Heather even showed a picture of a knot on her head. I believe so. And so then Dylan eventually ends up back in prison, not for putting his hands on Heather, for something else. He did some time. He gets out, and honey, Dylan was in a roller coaster of love when he got out of prison. He met up with a girl named Marissa and let the games begin, honey. Toxic. Those two were toxic. The internet onslaught that they put on, the shenanigans of it all, screaming, yelling, cussing, filming it all. And Dylan got arrested for DV against Marissa. He done put his hands on Marissa. And he done got arrested. I think now Dylan and Marissa have broken up. Thank God. Because they needed to. They were not good together. And then there's Heather. Now Heather just went down. Heather, I'm going to need for you to seek help. You need help. Heather is now homeless. She has 4 children. She don't have any of them. The last child that she had is in someone else's care. And Heather goes for supervised visitation. She has a boyfriend named X. And allegedly, from what I read, allegedly he also suffers from mental illness and some substances in the past. Now we know Heather's track record. And Heather is daily on the internet talking about her not having a home, her and all her degrees, her working at Northwestern, how this country is not treating her well. She is literally outside of a store in, I think she lives in Chicago, outside of a store, talking to her phone, while her boyfriend in his man bun looks mortified, by the way. She is talking and yelling and screaming, I'm lactating, I gotta lactate. This country isn't helping me. Girl, from what all I have read and the research I have done, Heather, help have been extended to you. You decline to help yourself. You would rather get handouts because, see, y'all don't get it effed up. She is dropping cash apps, GoFundMes, if you want to give a little bit. And then you're barking about being a mother of 4. Heather, you need help. And listen, I don't diagnose anybody. But you can look at her and tell that she needs help. She's already been to a mental facility. And I don't know what happened with it. But she is someone who is on a downward spiral. And Heather, until you get yourself together, okay, you're not going to have no relationship with your children. Especially the last one. Especially the last one. Because there is no way a court is going to look at you and say that you are fit to take care of this child. Especially when you're homeless, you don't have no job, you have been living in a tent, you was in a shelter, they booted you. That's what you said, they booted you. Oh my God, you're lucky that you have supervised visits at this point. Cute little baby. Cute little baby. Y'all, only thing I gotta say is, if y'all gonna look up Heather, or if y'all follow Heather, bless your heart. I followed her Instagram just to see what she's been up to. Y'all, I was shocked. I was shocked at how she was talking. It was just in circles. You couldn't even make sense of it. I didn't understand what she was saying. But she, in her mind, believes everything that she was talking about. Heather, I wish you well. I wish you well. And honey, your little man bun boyfriend, what's his name? Is Xavier X. Honey, you move on, honey. Move on. Do something. Get a job. Get a job. You spending all that time talking on the, you're walking and you're talking, walk and talk to the unemployment agency. Walk and talk to a job. But you want handouts. Girl, bye. You said yourself that you are an able-bodied woman who can work with your degrees. Do it. Let's move on. Oh, the sweet, innocent Mormon from Utah who lived in a nice house in a nice neighborhood, who had all those lovely white friends. Let's talk about Andrea. Now, with all the couples I have talked about, Andrea and Lamar was not toxic. It was Andrea who got on my nerves. She was the toxic one of the relationship because she didn't want Lamar to do anything. Everything was Lamar's fault. Because see, Andrea sat up on her perch, okay? On her perch, and she was all holier than thou. Okay, she was all Christian. Do what I say, and look how good you'll be in life. Andrea put it out there that she was this pristine, perfect Mormon Christian woman, and everyone should bow down to her. Self-righteous Andrea, and I think that's where she rubbed people the wrong way. And because then people was like, well, if you're so self-righteous and you think you're on this pedestal, why you hook up with Lamar? Lamar was from California. Lamar was a gangbanger. Lamar was a street pharmacist, and Lamar was in prison. But here you are talking about how you're just a perfect person. You were far from perfect. And let me get a strong shout out to the two co-participants of all co-participants. See, they were the children that paved the way for the rest of the Love After Lockup kids. Andrea's two kids, especially her son, MVP. Every time he came on camera, he stole the spotlight from his mama, as he should. He was so sweet and smart, and he clocked his mama. How many times did he crack Andrea's face on television? Honey, Andrea couldn't get nothing by her son, and her daughter as well, but her son knew whom the real Andrea was, and he did not hesitate to put her in her place when she needed it. So then here is Lamar and Andrea, and he gets out and he goes to Utah, and he figures out real quick that Utah may not be the place for him. But see, Andrea was in limbo because Utah is her home. This is where her friends are. This is where her church is. This is where she can be that perfect Mormon. How dare Lamar don't try to fit in. Meanwhile, Lamar looked like he could have been an extra in any 90s hood movie. He looked like a browner toned Suge Knight. That was Lamar. And Lamar's for the streets. Lamar needed to get back home. Now, Andrea had 2 kids with someone else. And then Andrea and Lamar had a daughter. I think her name was Priscilla. And then Lamar, as we later found out, he had a daughter. I get to that in a minute. So Andrea needed to make a decision. Do I stay in Utah and have Lamar even suffer anymore? Or do I pack up my whole family and we move to California? But see, there's a little thing there that she needed to tell her friends, because she was the perfect Mormon, the perfect Christian. See, while she was visiting Lamar, she took it a step further. See, in the Bible, in Corinthians 6:9.39, Corinthians, Andrea read the part, thou shalt spread my legs in a broom closet. I shall bend over in the janitor's closet of the prison. Because see, Andrea dropped a bombshell. Andrea told that Priscilla was conceived in the janitor's closet of the prison, amongst the brooms and the mops and the cleaning supplies and the buckets. Lamar done cracked that back in a janitor's closet, and Andrea wanted us to think that she was this holier than thou woman. Her and Lamar wasn't even married then. I don't think so. That's when we were like, Andrea, sit down. Sit down. Lamar done blew out the back in a janitor's closet. Oh, classy, Andrea, classy. Wanted us to think that you was this holier than thou. And listen, if you wanted to get a little boom boom on in the janitor's closet, fine. That's fine with me, but don't try to portray yourself as something that you're not. Because let me tell you something, a Christian Mormon woman would never. But you did, so. Hey, Priscilla, beautiful daughter. So then they decided to make that trip, making my way downtown to California. California, hey, knows how to party. California love. That's how it goes, y'all. So they moved down there, and oh my God, Andrea was on 10. Okay, Lamar couldn't do nothing right. Lamar can go outside and have a beer. Here comes Andrea. Why you out here? Lamar can go into the living room and look at TV. Why are you looking at TV? Lamar can go upstairs and brush his teeth. Why you brushing your teeth? Andrea was following this man around while griping about living in the slums of California. We later on find out that Lamar had a daughter. Okay. Now this is the thing. Andrea knew about his daughter. Okay. But Priscilla at that time did not know about the daughter. There was a beach trip and the daughter and Lamar reunited. Priscilla was there. And one thing Lamar shouldn't have done, you shouldn't have had your daughter lie. Okay? That's what you shouldn't have done. Okay? So Lamar told Priscilla not to tell Andrea that he met up with his daughter. And Priscilla didn't know that she even had a sister. So Priscilla couldn't keep it in long enough. Okay? You know that Priscilla was going to say something. She's a child. Why would you even put that burden on her, Lamar? I could have just slapped him when he did that to that girl. Be a man and tell your wife, hey, I went and I met up with my girl, my daughter. I'm trying to have a relationship with her again. And you like it and you ain't gonna say nothing about it. No, Lamar ain't gonna do that. Okay? He gonna have his daughter lie or keep a secret. You don't have children keeping secrets, friend. So, of course, Andrea finds out and oh my gosh, she gets in that car going 80. And Lamar was over at his cousin's house or homeboy's house or whatever. Honey, Andrea gets out that car, hair all over her head. She's screaming, she's yelling, talking about how you gonna have the daughter lie and why you do this to Priscilla. She was all up in Lamar's face. She shoved him a couple of times. Lamar said, you know what, see, this is why I didn't tell her. This is why I didn't tell her. You can't tell her nothing. You see how she acts? All up in the street, yelling, screaming, the cousin trying to separate them. And then Lamar said, that's it. Lamar walked away. He said, if I don't walk away from this woman, I'm going to end up in prison for life. So let me just walk away, let her cool down. Andrea's still yelling and screaming. Yes, Lamar, you shouldn't have had Priscilla keep that secret. But Andrea, you knew that Lamar had a daughter, okay? And of course Lamar would want to have some type of relationship with his daughter. Andrea, that scene that you did, honey, you just didn't want Lamar to have a relationship with his daughter. That's what it was. You was jealous. You was jealous. And when we met the daughter was real cool with it. She was cool. She didn't have no problems whatsoever. And then here's Andrea. What about all the attention that would be taken away from Priscilla? Wouldn't be no attention taken away from Priscilla. Priscilla said that she wanted to get to know her sister. But of course, everything was about Andrea. Everything. Time went on. There was fake fights, fake fussing, just like when they claimed that Lamar had some condoms, okay? And then he said it was his cousins. Y'all, I didn't buy that for a minute, okay? That was fake, all right? The whole, Lamar cheating on Andrea thing with the condoms. We talk about that wedding. Oh, yes, that wedding. Andrea and Lamar finally up there getting married, and that wedding, child, that wedding. What about Andrea's little racist friend? Y'all remember her? She was saying some crazy stuff. Talking about, I never met Lamar, but it's a whole bunch of black guys here. He one of them. I don't know if my husband's gonna let me come to another black wedding amongst all these black people. I was like, if you don't take your white ass away from me, you better. What is wrong with you? And then, of course, things happened. They ran into hiccups. And then, oh my God, party. And it was like, what was it? African theme, yo? And Andrea had on that headband, and she was in and out of that limo. She got into fights with her bridesmaids or her friends from Utah. Child, it was a mess. Andrea didn't have on no drawers. Honey, it was so funny. Andrea and Lamar gave us the things that we needed. Were they toxic? Andrea was. Did they give us enjoyment? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, they did. They gave us everything that we need. And Andrea and Lamar, they got married. Everyone looked nice. Okay? And they're still together. Now, Lamar did go back to prison for a little bit. Okay? But he's out now, and I believe him and Andrea are still together, and I wish them well. I really do. I hope they are happy, healthy, and loved, and I hope the kids are doing well. Of course they're doing well. I bet you they are thriving. I bet they are doing so well. And y'all, it was Tennyson, Nyla, and Priscilla. And y'all remember Tennyson was not down with Lamar. Of course he wasn't, okay? Tennyson did not want Lamar in that house. Tennyson was, apprehensive like any child would be. And then, later on, Tennyson was more for Lamar, than Andrea, when Andrea used to cut a shine and how she acted. So I hope they are doing so well. I really do. I really enjoyed those kids, and I enjoyed seeing them on my screen. So y'all put down below, y'all. I know I left out some things, but I can't be here all night and day. So y'all put down below y'all most memorable moments between Andrea and Lamar, Heather, Dylan. Y'all put it down below. Let's save the best for last. Last And definitely not least, the Virginians. The Virginians. Okay? If you're new here, I'm from Virginia. Born and raised. On the playground is where I spend most of my days. Yes, I'm a Virginia girl, and when I see anything associated with Virginia on these shows, I'm in for it. I'm here for it. I'm ready to talk about it. I'm looking at the sites, at the restaurants, at the sceneries to see if I've been there before. And how can we forget the trio of fools? Oh yes. Lacey, the cam girl, John, the bad boy, and country ass Shane. Now, Lacey had a high school sweetheart. His name was John. She was also engaged to John, and John was also in prison. John was a cutie. Oh, yes, he was. And see, John was thinking that him and Lacey, when he gets out, they were going to be happily ever after. But see, Lacey said, no. See, I got something else in mind, friend. I got something else in mind. Do you know what I have in mind? Oh, yes. Okay? Cheating on you, break the engagement, and I'm going to go and meet and be with a guy named Shane, who was also in prison. So Lacey went to the prison and told John it's over. Honey, John was devastated. Devastated. But Lacey hop, skipped, and jumped out of the prison, and she goes and gets with Shane and let the games begin. Because, see, the toxicity started from jump. Okay, Shane done got out of prison. All right, everything was fine. Lacey already had children. What did Lacey have? 2 or 3 kids at the time? And then Lacey's dad, he was another MVP. A co-participant I enjoyed. Oh, yes. All right. Now, Papa Lacey was not here for Lacey's shenanigans. And he definitely wasn't here for Shane. He did not like Shane. But he also did not like John. He let that be known. He said, my daughter can't pick men to save her life, but I love my grandkids. So, here is Shane. Here is Lacey. Things are going okay. All right. And then John gets out of prison. And oh boy. See, this is what happens. All right. John gets out of prison. And then Lacey was like, oh. Now I seen John's out of prison. John's out. I seen him on Facebook and he was looking kind of good. And me and Shane really ain't getting along right now. Let me just go and tell John, hey. I just want to say, hey. And then there was this speculation about her last child that she had. Could it have been John? But that got debunked. It was not John's child. And then John and Lacey done met up. They just wanted to talk to each other. Close the chapter. But see, Shane wasn't having none of that. Okay? Because see, when Shane found out that Lacey had been talking to John, John and Shane and Lacey had a big blowout in the parking lot. John said, you don't know me, son. And at that point, I was like, John, you looking kind of good. Wait a minute. I was like, Shane, you are kind of goofy. What y'all think, love after lock up fat? What y'all think, Shane? John is kind of rough around the edges. So there was a big blow up and screaming and yelling, and honey, John and Shane were not gonna throw hands, because I got a feeling John would have took Shane. John would have took Shane. That's just me. I could be wrong. Shane could have been a dark horse. But it didn't come to that. Then Shane and Lacey moved on. They still arguing. They still fussing. I think there was a breakup in between there. I do believe. I can't remember. Y'all let me know. But then it was time for them to say, you know what? We're going to get married. Because, see, they were trying to have a child. All right. Now, Lacey's tubes was tied. So they had to go through IVF to get all that situated so she can have a baby. And we all collectively was like, child, you two do not need to have a child. But see, they never listen to us. They just think they grown and they know everything, and they go doopy-doppy-doo and do everything that they need to do instead of doing the right thing. So Lacey and Shane, was trying to have a kid. And they were going to get married. But see, Shane wasn't done, was he? Shane wasn't done. Shane told Lacey that he cheated. Shane cheated on Lacey before they got married. But this was, I believe this was after they had the baby. Or was it after the marriage? Because, honey, child, they done broke up so many times anyway. They had a child. They had twins. One of the twins passed away, but they had a beautiful, wasn't it a little girl? Real cute little girl. So anyway, Shane done cheated on Lacey. Lacey said, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. But guess who she ran to? Guess who she ran to make her feel better? And guess who was there with open arms? Oh yes, John. It was John. And so for a time period, Lacey and John was back together. Shane was out back, crying, snot, flying. And this was all before they got married, y'all. Remember that. So after John and Lacey done had their fun, okay, Shane still crying. John and Lacey done broke up. Lacey goes back to Shane. Shane and Lacey gets back together. Even though there has been infidelity, okay, toxicity, all right. John may possibly, I think he had relapse. It was a hot mess. So Lacey and Shane gets back together and they get married. Then they get married, okay? And then, of course, it was the dramatics of, is John going to show up and crash the wedding? And, of course, nothing, happened. So then, here comes another season. I think this was Life After Lockup, I do believe. Y'all, don't quote me, don't quote me. We've seen Lacey, John, and Shane so many times. Makeup to breakup, makeup to breakup. And so then, the kids are, there's Lacey and Shane, and they seem like they were doing well. The kids seemed like they were doing well. Papa Lacey seemed like he was doing well. Shane had him a little job. Then there was John. John was in his family business, in the HVAC business. So everybody seemed to be doing well. And then, do y'all remember when John got arrested and John said that Lacey was the one that snitched on him? He said that Lacey was the one that called the cops on him. Lacey denied these allegations. Lacey said, listen, I didn't have nothing to do with that. But John was hell-bent that Lacey was the one that turned him in. John also moved on. John got him a little girlfriend. But see, that little head of Lacey keeps popping up into John's mind. Because see, at this time, Lacey and Shane, they back at it. See, Shane was spending a whole lot of time in the gym. And Lacey didn't like that. Lacey didn't like when Shane was up in the gym. She didn't like that Shane was up there getting his workout on. So Lacey was jealous and insecure, okay? So of course Shane was cheating because he had cheated in the past. But see, Lacey, you was out there doing your thing too with John. in communication with each other all throughout her and Shane's relationship. Until the time when she got tired of John. Okay. But guess what she did? She found her way back to John. She found her way back to John. And John was in a relationship with someone else. And y'all gonna have to remind me, did John break up with his girlfriend, or did the girlfriend break up with John? Or did John just say, Lacey, leave me alone? Because that's a little bit cloudy with me. Anyway, Shane and Lacey had a big argument. Knock down, drag out. They didn't put their hands on each other. But Lacey told Shane to get out. Take your feet to the motherfreaking street. And so at the time, Lacey and Shane had broke up. Lacey was back with John temporarily because there was like pictures or something in John's vehicle or something like that. My timeline may be off because they were swinging all over the place. But Lacey and John ended up together at some point after Lacey and Shane had broken up. Then Lacey and Shane, I do believe, got back together for a period of time after the show had ended and everybody just broke up with each other. Thank God. It was the love triangle of hell. Toxic, toxic, toxic. Lacey run around here loose beef Lacey. Just a mess. And then Shane had a mental breakdown. Y'all remember when Shane was missing all of 2 days and Lacey came out and said that he was in a mental facility? Honey, Shane had to get himself right. Lacey done had these men going nuts. But that may not be it. Shane may have been dealing with other things in his life. So anyway, so we had Shane done got arrested. In the meantime, in between time, John done got arrested. In the meantime, in between time. But now they all seem to be separated and more happier. John is still working in his family business, the HVAC business. Shane looks like he's doing very well. He looks super healthy. He's, still in the gym working out. He seemed happy. And hey, Lacey and her boobs seem very happy. And I went to her Instagram page and the only thing I seen was knockers. I said, good God almighty. I believe Lacey is on OF. Don't quote me, don't quote me. So I think everyone is in their separate corners and they are doing fine. And I wish them the best. Thank you, the trio of fools, Lacey, Shane, and John, giving us the entertainment that we needed. Thank you for giving everything that we needed, because honey, y'all brought it. The Virginians brought it. I'm so glad y'all like these little videos I'm putting out. Just something to make the time go by faster until Friday gets here, child. Y'all know what to do. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new here, why haven't you hit that subscribe button? Oh, you wanted me to wait? Oh, okay. Have you done it? Have you done it? Oh, okay. All right, y'all. And until next time, friends.